I'm Dr. Anumidelias. I'm here to explain you about solid waste management and landfill. Today in this class we'll be studying about the classification of hazardous waste as per WHO standard. How the waste are classified based on the World Health Organization. So coming to the classification of waste category as per WHO standard, there are 10 categories. So category 1 is human anatomical waste, category 2 is animal anatomical waste, third one is microbiology and biotechnology waste, fourth is waste shop, fifth one is discarded medicines and cytotoxic drugs, sixth is soil waste, seventh is solid waste, eighth is liquid, 9 is incineration ash and 10 is chemical waste. So here we will explain in detail about each type of categories. So what are the type of waste generated and how the treatment and disposal options will be. In the case of category number 1, human anatomical waste, it can be a human tissue, organ or body part. So what is the treatment we are doing? It can be incineration or deep burial. In the case of category 2, that is animal waste, it can be animal tissues, organs, body parts, etc. can be treated or disposed using incineration or deep burial. So incineration means you all know that we are burning it, and deep burial means in depth we will be bury the body. Category 3, it is microbiology and biotechnology waste. So it can be the waste generated from laboratory cultures or stocks or live microorganisms. So in the biotech lab, in the microbiology lab, you all might have noticed about autoclaving, microwaving and all. So that will be used in this category 3. And category 4, it is a waste shop. So it can be needles, syringes and all what we are using in the hospitals. So there we will be doing the disinfecting. So disinfecting will be done using chemical treatment, autoclaving, etc. In the case of category 5, it is a discarded medicine or cytotoxic drugs. So this will be done using incineration, that is destruction of the drugs will be done in secured landfill. Category 6, it is a soil waste. I had already explained what is soil waste in the last class. So that is completely about the waste generated, that is it can be cotton, dressing waste or cotton. So in this cotton or dressing waste, it contains the pus or blood will be there. So how we will be disposing or treating? It can be through incineration, microwaving or autoclaving. Category number 7, it is solid waste. So the waste generated from the disposal item, that can be other than waste shops. So that is doing disinfection by chemical treatment, autoclaving and microwave. So coming to category 8, liquid waste, that is generated from laboratory or washing, cleaning and all. So that we will be disinfecting by chemical treatment. And category 9, incineration ash. The ash from incineration will be disposed in the municipal landfill. And category 10, that is chemical waste, that can be produced by biological or chemicals used in disinfecting or insecticides, etc. This is a chemical treatment will be done and discharged into the drains for liquids, or it will be secured in the landfill for solids. So these are the 10 type of categories that we had studied, and how we will dispose it also we had studied. That was based on the WHO standard, World Health Organization standard. Coming to the based on color coding, how we will segregate the biomedical waste. So here you can see the table which shows the color and how we are based on the color, how we are segregating the waste and how we are treating it. Yellow color comes for the human and animal anatomical waste. I had already told how the treatment method is. Red comes under the IV sets, tubing, etc. Blue or white comes under the waste shop, that is needle, syringe, etc. The black color comes under the discarded medicines or chemical waste or incineration ash. It will be disposed in the landfill. So here comes the steps in the management of biomedical waste. How we will manage the biomedical waste? What are the steps in that? First, we have to do a proper survey of waste generated. Second one, we have to do the segregation of the hospital waste. And third is the collection and categorization of the waste. For that only, now we had studied the how to categorize the waste. Fourth is the storage of the waste. The waste should be stored, but it should not be stored not beyond 48 hours. Then transportation of waste, treatment of waste. This we will be studying in detail in the coming slides. So first is the steps to manage hazardous waste before disposal. First step, know what hazard you have. So we have to know what is a hazardous waste. We had studied so many types. like in that which type, from which source it is generated, we should have a proper awareness. Second one is purchase smallest quantity needed, and that is if we want a hazardous waste. For example, in our homes we are using batteries or we are using thermometers. So thermometers, if we have 4 people in the home, we should not purchase 4 thermometers. We have to purchase only 1 thermometer. So this is what, purchase small quantity needed. We should not purchase more, and we should not dispose in the dust bin. That is, so comes under the source reduction. And the third step is limit use and access to trained persons with PPE, that is personal protective gear. So here you can see a lady is keeping the waste in the dustbin. So at that time we have to use proper PPE kit. So we have to train the persons when they take hazardous waste, they have to be proper wear the PPE kit. And fourth one is use engineering controls such as ventilation hoods for select hazard. So when we are in the lab, in the research facilities or laboratories, if you are taking any hazardous chemical, we have to keep that inside the fume hood and we have to take the chemicals. Fifth one is get rid of unnecessary stuff. So don't accumulate unneeded products. So if there is a hazardous waste is there, we should not accumulate in homes, we should not keep it preserved. We have to dispose it, or we have to do the proper treatment for that. Sixth one is we have to label the chemicals or hazard properly. So in the labs, if there is a chemical or hazardous waste is there, we have to put these symbols on the bottle. Then only from outside we can able to understand that this is a hazardous or radioactive waste. Then only we will be aware of that. So here you can see different symbols. So this is hazardous label, flammable you can see, hazardous symbols you can see. So these should be there in the properly kept in the bottles. Seventh one is communicate about workplace hazard. So you can see the posters here. So there should be proper placard. If danger is there in the workplace, we have to inform through the proper placard. And protective clothing required for entry. Contaminated area, if it is a contaminated area, proper placard should be there. Radioactive material, proper placard should be there. So then only people who are coming from outside, they should know that that area is a contaminated area, we should not move to that area. So people will get awareness. So this has to be communicated properly in the workplace using proper posters. Eighth one is recycle products when possible. So here you can see the recycled one, PET bottle or PET polyethylene. It can be high density or low density, polypropylene, polystyrene, etc. So these are some of the plastics. So how we can recycle it? So if it is possible, we have to segregate it accordingly and we have to recycle it. Coming to the chemical waste. In the chemical waste means it can be a chemical mixture which exhibit in a corrosive, flammable or toxic. So it can persist in the environment also. So some additional chemicals are managed as hazardous waste because they are carcinogenic in nature. So chemical waste, first is flammable. So in the flammable one, we can see that a liquid having a flash point less than 140 degree Fahrenheit. It comes under the flammable waste. It comes under the flammable waste. So, so we have to know which type of waste is a flammable and which is not flammable. So second comes under the corrosive. Corrosive will be categorized based on the pH. So if the pH is less than 2 or greater than 12.5, based on that we will categorize the corrosive or non-corrosive one. Third one is reactive one. A waste chemical which is reactive. So it can be undergoes a violent change, or it can be reactive violently, or it will be more violent. So some chemicals such as cyanide, sulfate, etc., based on the pH it will react more. So we should know that what all chemicals will react in what conditions. So that should be aware of each and every people, or else it will create a danger to the human health. Fifth one is toxic. So toxicity will be based on chemicals. So it will vary based on each and every chemical. Sixth one is persistent. So persistent chemicals do not biodegrade quickly in the environment. There are two main categories of persistent chemical. Persistent means it won't degrade, it will persist in the environment for long time. So two main categories of persistent chemical. One is halogenated organic compound. So and in the halogenated organic compound, it can be an atom of fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, etc. And the second one is polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbon. In that you can see different type of chemicals such as fluoranthane, fluorine, naphthalene, etc. So these are some of the persistent chemicals that which we can see in the labs. So here you can see the examples of chemical waste, that is hazardous waste for disposal, a sheet. This should be maintained, that record sheet should be maintained in the labs. And you can see the bottles, in that we had put stickers there. So in that stickers we have to write whether it is a radioactive or what type of, how it is radioactive, it is flammable, or what pH we have to maintain. Everything has to be mentioned. So if a person who is taking that one, they have to first read it and take the precautions for that, properly wear the PPE kit, and we have to use it. So these labels are very necessary in the labs. Coming to the radioactive one. So we had completed the chemical waste. Coming to the radioactive waste. Radioactive waste means it produces the isotope known as radioactive waste. So it can be classified in 3 categories. So it will be a low level waste, intermediate level waste, high level waste. Low level will be generated mostly from the hospitals, and intermediate level will be generated from laboratories and industries, and high level waste will be generated from the nuclear power station. So these are some of the radioactive waste. Coming to the nuclear waste. Nuclear waste is highly radioactive. So it can cause cancer, radiation, sickness, death, etc. So for example, cesium-137 is one of the harmful radioactive isotopes. So it causes, the quantities will cause harmful to the environment as well as human beings. Here you can see the cesium-137. So it is produced by the fission of plutonium or uranium. So it is highly radioactive and it is very much toxic in the environment. So we had studied about different types of waste: chemical, radioactive, hazardous, biomedical, etc. So what we can do to reduce the waste? So first of all, we have to lessen the amount of material. As I already told, if you are using a thermometer, so in our home if 4 people are there, we should not buy 4, we should buy only 1. So we have to segregate the waste accordingly. We have to reduce the use, minimize the waste, reduce or limit the waste at the source itself, and proper engineering controls has to be done, that is reduce the quantity of waste, proper care should be taken, and we from our side, people has to understand that and we have to do it. So what are the remedies? So proper disposal has to be done. So the public should get proper awareness how to dispose the radioactive waste or biomedical waste or hazardous waste. So the hazardous waste are of different types. For each waste, how we have to dispose it, public should get proper awareness. So individual has to participate in each and every process. So we people has to done from our part. Other than that, municipality and government should pay attention on this, and we have to educate everyone from the first stage itself. So this is what completely about the classification of hazardous waste based on WHO standard, and I hope you all understood it clearly, and I hope you all will do your part and you will reduce the waste from the source itself. Thank you.